Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we're talking about the Sunday Sip. Check it out. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Fret Rescue. Located in Southeast Michigan, Joe at Fret Rescue has over 17 years of experience as a journeyman luthier. From basic setup to major repairs and restorations, you can put your trust in Fret Rescue. Contact Fret Rescue via email at fretrescue@gmail.com. You can also find them on social media by searching for Fret Rescue, @FertRescue. That's Fret Rescue. So today, I don't have any bands. It's crazy, but true. Some scheduling problems resulted in me not having a band. So this week, you get something different and hopefully special, but we'll see. So Fans with Bands is also part of Life in Michigan, and that's what me and my wife, Brenda, put together. It's a online magazine, and we have a newsletter. That newsletter is over on Substack, and each week we take a turn writing the newsletter, and it includes a little personal essay, some events and such that are going on that might be interesting, what we're reading, what we're listening to, that kind of stuff. So I thought, why not? I'll share that with you. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So it's something different. We'll be back to the bands shortly. I've got some great bands coming up, actually doing a recording later tonight. So we will have some new interviews coming up soon. But until then, here is the Sunday Sip with me reading it out loud. Here you go. So this is the Sunday Sip from May 26, 2024. Acronym soup continued. It's time to ROTA. Rhoda. Do you feel the wheel turning? So, happy day. Hopefully Memorial Day was warm and wonderful. Our deepest heartfelt thanks and respects to all who have given their lives in the service of our country. Please take a moment to honor the fallen who have given so much to help us enjoy this Sunday morning together. And just so you guys know, the Sunday Sip comes out on Sunday. So there you go. Happenings last week had my heart humming and my brain buzzing. We took a trip to the west side of Michigan to the small town of Fenville, which is very much a rural town set amongst the vineyards and farmland. It is a skip and a jump from the beautiful blue of Lake Michigan. Our goal was to meet up with Fred Butelman and Ulla Fredrickson to learn about Red Horse Center, an extremely unique and peaceful place where they provide personal, group development, mental health, and community support services. The unique character of this place is found in a herd of horses and their relationship with the team at Red Horse Center and their clients. I'm writing a story for Red Horse, about Red Horse Center for Rural Innovation Exchange, so I don't want to give away all the nuts and bolts just yet. What sparked my thoughts to share with you today is meeting the horses. At Red Horse, the horses are horses. That sounds like doublespeak or other nonsense, but bear with me, friends. Instead of treating the horses as a work animal, they are effectively partners. In a way, their work is to be empathic beings and give you and me a different point of view on how we are feeling and behaving. I know this sounds like crazy hippie shit. If you're a hippie, no offense intended, but it was quite amazing to have these very large animals come up to be pet and then brush against you before giving you a sniff. Their large, warm nostrils flare as their velvety, soft nose comes within hairs of your skin. The horses would then organize themselves in a way that conveyed who they were and where they fit within their group. It's almost like the easy happiness you feel petting a dog or a cat, if those animals resonate with you. However, the real kicker came later. We ate dinner with Fred, Ulla, Jenny Alty, and Tom Luden. Jenny and Tom are also part of Red Horse. We went to this fantastic spot called Salt of the Earth in Fenville. Fred, Ulla, and Jenny had earlier shared stories about experiences that groups and individuals had with the horses. They reflect the true sense of the word awesome. I'm not sure how it came about in our conversation, but I shared a bit of my encounter with the horses. As I started to speak, I got choked up with emotion. Hell, just thinking about it right now, I'm welling up again. And as I'm reading this, I'm kind of getting a little choked up. Anyway, I had no idea what made that experience so profound. Was it the combination of hearing those wondrous stories and then being in the presence of a being so unlike us, yet very much attuned to our emotional state? I'm not overly spiritual. I wouldn't say I believe in God, but I very much believe there's something we all tap into and are connected with. If you are like me, you are now hearing, "Use the Force, Luke," in the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, that was a horrible imitation of Obi-Wan. Or perhaps Yoda telling Luke, "You must feel the Force around you." That sounds even worse. You must feel the Force around you. Whatever you want to call this bonding agent that permeates life, it physically manifests itself for me when I'm positively charged emotionally. When I'm positively emotionally charged. Whether through a welling of tears, a tightening of the throat, a tingling of the scalp, the hairs rising in your arms, or a sudden intensity of vision, the Force, let's call it that, takes hold. As Yoda says, luminous beings we are, not this crude matter. You may be wondering what in the hell this has to do with acronym soup. So as I pondered what to share with you today and this horse experience, I thought of Brenda's last Sunday sip, and you'll have to go over Substack to check that out. She wrote a funny and thoughtful essay about YOLO, you only live once, FOMO, fear of missing out, and created her own acronym, TIRO, time is running out. I'm aware that time is running out, and I only live once. My life has been amazing. Sure, there have been struggles, being bullied, divorce, deaths, but overall, it's been awesome. And then it hit me. Rhoda, reflect on the awesome. There always seems to be time for self-doubt and regret. But do we spend enough time reflecting on the awesome? I'm trying to be a practitioner of Rhoda. In a way, I think it dovetails into being in the moment. It is worth a moment if you haven't checked out the book, The Art of Noticing by Rob Walker. Rob also has a Substack where he keeps drumming up great ideas on noticing the world around us. Anyway, I feel like a shot of reflecting on the awesome reaffirms how incredible our journey through this life is. I'd love to read some of your reflections of the awesome. If you're willing to share, drop a note or leave a comment on Substack. Or you can do that and shoot a comment over to me via the podcast too. So whatever. You can email us if you'd like to share with only me and Brenda. If you've got a reflection on the awesome, and I'll have another reflection, which is coming later in this reading of our newsletter in a section called What Are You Spinning section, bonus. All right, then in our newsletter, I talk about GIG, the Art of Michigan Music, which I believe I've talked with you about on Fans with Bands, but it is a 3-day music fest, an art exhibit with music. So it's not really a music fest necessarily. The focus is on gig posters, t-shirt art, and that visual art. So think photography, bands, concert photography too. I don't know why I was struggling to get that out of there. But anyway, that's the focus, is that kind of artwork, that kind of visual side for the Michigan music, basically, and all music in general. There's that visual component, and that's what GIG is about. Anyway, GIG is happening at Art 634 in Jackson, Michigan on November 8th, 9th, and 10th. And what I was thrilled to announce in the newsletter is that our featured poster artist is the wildly talented Craig Horkey. If you were at Oigs Fest in Kalamazoo, you would have seen Craig's badass artwork on Oigs Fest poster and t-shirt. You would have also seen him jamming in the Weirdly Wonderful Cavalcade. So here's a short bio from the man himself. Craig is an illustrator and cat whisperer who currently resides in one of the grayest cities in the Midwest with a polydactyl cat named Alice. He draws pictures for bands and magazines and companies and things. When not slumped over a table drawing four-eyed cats and causing himself irreparable back damage. He spends what little free time he has making music, motorcycling, and collecting, imbibing whiskey. In the newsletter, you'll have to go check out the newsletter on Substack to see this, but there is a poster. We've got a picture of the poster with the bands that are playing. In case you're interested, Friday we've got a surprised mystery guest right now, which we'll be announcing in August. We've got Jennifer Westwood and Dylan Dunbar. We've got Wilson Thicket, and we've got John Torrance. On Saturday, we've got Nathan Walton and the Remedy headlining with the Blue Flowers, Carbon Decoy, and Ladyship Worship. So anyway, Craig has created this super awesome poster. We'll have that printed up on posters that you can pick up at the show, as well as t-shirts. Let's see. More on gig. We need some sponsors. So if you are in the position, or you know somebody that is in the position of helping out Gig, the Art of Michigan Music, be even more awesome, go check out the Be a Part of Gig page on the Gig website, which is gig-art-of-music.com. And you can also find it on our newsletter, or you can get in touch with me via email, chuck@lifeinmichigan.com. Once again, a huge thanks to Dawn Corporate Giving, Experience Jackson, Ogma Brewing, Manchester Underground Music and Art, Michigan Music Alliance, and Life in Michigan for their support. We definitely need some more help here, so if you or anybody you know can help out, that would be awesome. We also are looking for vendors for the Sunday market. So on Sunday of the third day and final day of Gig is a music market. So bands, record dealers, instrument makers, studios, print shops, or any other service that works with artists and musicians, we still have space for you at the Sunday market at Gig on November 10th. There's a $20 table fee, super cheap. You won't get any cheaper anywhere else. If you're interested, email me, chuck@lifeinmichigan.com. You can stay tuned to the Gig, the Art of Michigan Music website, and our socials on Facebook and Instagram for updates. And be sure to mark your calendars for November 8th to the 10th at Art 634 in Jackson. All right, upcoming events you don't want to miss. So we try to share in the newsletter things coming up in the next few weeks that you should get to and check out if you can. So we got hockey, and hopefully I'm saying that right, live at Batch Brewing with special guest Harmolodics in Detroit. So if you don't know, Batch is in Corktown. Get over to Batch. They have outdoor music starting up. This will be their first show, May 30th, first show of this year, with hockey. They've got great beer, food, and music. The Gasoline Gypsies, Gravel Roads EP release party in Port Huron on June 1st. One of Michigan's treasures, the Gasoline Gypsies have a new EP and will celebrate its release at the Foundry in Port Huron. Dog and Pony Show, 3rd anniversary in Oak Park on June 1st. Celebrate Dog and Pony Brewing 3rd anniversary with a festival, party, and plenty of delicious beers. Man, I cannot read sometimes. 2024 Allegan Craft Beer Festival in Allegan on June 1st. The historic town of Allegan, over on the west side, about 40 minutes south of Grand Rapids, is hosting their annual beer fest. Mason Street Blast 2024, La Cultura at City Built in Grand Rapids on June 1st. City Built is celebrating 7 years with salsa dancing, a pop-up art show, food, and stellar beers over on Mason Street, which is right next to the City Built. Let's see. OG Day Drinker Music Series presents Fangs and Twangs in Milan on June 1st. Get your drinking day off to a strong start at Original Gravity in Milan with the chilling tales of terror with a twist, thanks to Fangs and Twang. And Fangs and Twang have been on whatever I'm doing right now. Shit. Fans with bands. Let's see. More things going on. FemFest 2 in Chesterfield on June 1st. Bunch of stuff on Saturday. So Saturday, June 1st, Infused Productions, in cooperation with Allie Rose, presents FemFest 2 live at the Diesel Concert Lounge. All 12, so there are 12 all local female-fronted punk, rock, metal bands performing on 2 stages. Also, there's Burnfest 24, which will be held in Ann Arbor on June 1st. Black Note Graffiti will host a night of rock music at the legendary Blind Pig. Matthew Carlson with Deer and Elk and it's like Teutonosaurus, but I'm saying it wrong. It's like Teutonic, but Teutonosaur. There you go. Shedio on the Road Tour kickoff show in Lansing on June 5th. So that week we'll be going there to check that out and check out Matthew Carlson. You can come out and hang out with us at the Robin Theater for a show featuring Matthew Carlson, aka Matty C. He has a Substack called What Am I Making? And that's actually how we found out about this. Sounds and Sights on Thursday nights in Chelsea starts up on June 6th and runs through July 25th. So music and fun take over the downtown Chelsea for Sounds and Sights on Thursday nights. You can find any genre of music, including heavy metal. I know that Imminent Sonic Destruction will be playing one of those days on the stages located all over downtown. So be sure to go to the newsletter because there's links to all this stuff in there, by the way. See Fell Ruin, Temple of the Fuzzwitch, Mammon, and Graboids in Hamtramck on June 7th. So head over to Hamtramck's heavy metal headquarters, that's what I'm calling it, the Sanctuary, for an evening of extreme metal music. And then finally in our list of events is Manchester Underground Song and Story in Manchester on June 15th. So the Raisin River Distillery becomes an intimate listening room thanks to our friends at Manchester Underground Music, where they bring 3 fantastic artists together. Nina Sophia, Missy Colville, and Michelle Held to the stage. All right, in other news, in the Michigan Brewers Guild Great Beer State magazine, again, you need to go to this because it's really forwritten and it has links. There's a link to the Great Beer State magazine. You'll find a nifty story by Brenda on the Guild's legislative efforts. I know legislative efforts sounds like it could be boring, but it's not. You need to check it out. The Sun-Times has an interesting article by Doug Barron about the Tecumseh's 200th anniversary, which Ann Arbor is also having one. It's like a bunch of little towns in southern Michigan they're celebrating their anniversary today, or this year, I should say. That's coming up in July for Tecumseh. And over at A2 Pulp, which is the Ann Arbor Area District Library, which has a great little blog or magazine online called A2 Pulp, or Pulp, really, at A2. I don't know. Just go look for it. Christopher Porter has the rundown on the Friday 5 with a shout out to our pals in Mazinga. If you have not seen Mazinga or heard them, you need to. They're one of the best punk bands ever, and they're right here in Ann Arbor. They've got some new music out on Bandcamp you can go check out. At Life in Michigan, yours truly, I did a review and photos of Drink Their Blood with Rip Van Ripper, Flood the Desert, and Bronson Arm over at Bell's Back Room in Kalamazoo. There's also a review of Cardinal's Folly with War Horses and Saga at the Regal Beagle in Ypsilanti. And by the way, Bell's Back Room and the Regal Beagle are excellent venues worth visiting. Part of what we like to do is the Substack Restack, Substack's a great area if you're looking for, news, information, stories. They've got photography. There's all kinds of stuff over there. It's a great, basically a platform for people to get their information and kind of sidestep the whole social media algorithm crap. So anyway, we like to give a shout out for some of those and some of the ones that I fancied from the last weeks. In the Frame, Tell Us a Story with Your Camera by Don Giannotti. Don talks about storytelling with with photos or a series of photos versus snapshots. He also has links to some excellent stories rendered via photography, plus tips, which is always awesome. So check it out. Poor Man's Feast, When They Say You Don't Exist by Elisa Altman. When you are locked out of your account and the bot says, sorry, you don't exist, Elisa turns turmoil into a great story with Polony to ponder. The Honest Broker, Let's Just Admit It, The Algorithms Are Broken by Ted Goya. I hope I'm saying Ted's last name right. Anyway, TED Talks, no pun intended, but I did laugh when I wrote that one. Please continue. So TED talks about the bane of algorithms, which had me thinking of an excellent book by Neil Stephenson called Snow Crash. And I think if you read Ted's article and then if you're familiar with Snow Crash, maybe that'll spark something for you too. Playing in the Detroit area tonight. So one of my most favorite Facebook groups, I always put a thing at the end of the podcast about it. It's called Playing in the Detroit Area Tonight. It was set up by Jennifer Westwood, and she's a big cheerleader for the for music in general, but Michigan music in particular, and trying to help make the music scene as big and bold and awesome as it can be. And so she started that Facebook group to help, musicians and fans. It's not just about the musicians. You're nothing without your fans. So it's a way to kind of help people share information. Hopefully that group provides some ways for folks to, stay in the loop of what's going on. But as she is aware, the algorithms, as Ted talks about in his thing, is that, you only get a small percentage of the people that are following you get to see your message, whereas a newsletter does a lot better. Anyways, she's on Substack now as well, and the newsletter she's come up with is basically just a highlighting of all the gigs that are happening in the Detroit area. So it's a great resource for original music and art. Let's see, adventures yet to print. So we're always working on stuff. We went out last weekend and did some stuff to get some stories. One story that I've been lagging on forever, and it's way old, but it's kind of evergreen stuff, hopefully, as long as the places are open, and that is related to the Metro Detroit area record and vinyl story, which really is beer. Actually, I just realized I had a typo in there. I am working on that very, very slowly. Hopefully I'll get that son of a bitch out soon. Brenda's keyboard is burning as she's working on a story on our visit to the Gilmore Car Museum in Hickory Corners, which is between Battle Creek and Kalamazoo. And that was a great visit, super museum, and she's going to have a great story on that. I've already given you a taste of the Red Horse Center for Collaborative Leadership in Fenville, and I'm working on that full story right now. The little town of Allegan, we visited while we were out that way in Fenville, and we stayed at the Jade Estate Inn and had a great impromptu visit at the Allegan County Old Jail Museum, which is really it's really a gem. You should definitely go visit that place when you go to Allegan. Allegan also has 3 breweries, so if you need another reason to get out there, there you go. Tantric, Shandorf, and Herrenmark. So we've got a story about 24 hours in Allegan in the works. Plus, we have a wonderful time. We did have a wonderful time at the Michigan Cider Fest, which was downtown Grand Rapids, and so we'll have that for you too. Another section we like to have in the newsletter is what are you reading? So I just finished, and heads up if any of our book club members are listening to the podcast, I gave them a heads up when I wrote this. But basically, the book that I just finished is called Shoe Dog, a memoir by the creator of Nike by Phil Knight. And that was our book club pick this month. And I'm glad, as I don't think I know I would not have picked this otherwise. It was a fascinating look into how Phil Knight and Nike got their start. After reading, I have a new appreciation for the founder and his company. However, I won't run out and buy Nike shoes. Too narrow for my Hobbit feet. The only problem with the book is that it gets a bit repetitive. I suppose it helps to understand the challenges they faced, but it sort of gets crushing after a bit. Perhaps that is the intent, to give you a feel for what it was like. I don't know. What are you spinning? So I got a picture of Blind Faith's first album. Not the controversial cover, but the other cover that got swapped out. And if you don't know about that, just look up Blind Faith. Anyway, earlier I promised you a bit of my own rota, which is reflect on the awesome. And here it is. Thinking about awesome moments typically rolls into something about music. The song Can't Find My Way Home by Blind Faith is one of my most favorite songs. The entire debut album by Blind Faith is jammed with great music, but Can't Find My Way Home is special. No matter how many times I hear it, I get emotional. I'm sure it is the implied sadness from the song's structure and that wonderful, melancholy melody. Then there are the lost and yearning lyrics. Oh my God, how I love that song. One of my most favorite memories and moments was hearing this song live at Crossroads in 2007. There were a ton of amazing moments at that concert, such as seeing B.B. King and Eric Clapton share the stage, or witnessing John Mayer play Gravity. But when Steve Winwood joined Eric for Can't Find My Way Home, the emotions surged overboard, leaving me glassy-eyed and awestruck. And if you go to the newsletter, there's a little link for the video from Crossroads, which was a great show. So that's a wrap, and that's a wrap for the podcast as well. I hope, I've been trying. Well, I haven't really been trying. It's kind of a joke here with me and Brenda that I typically run super long with the Sunday Sip. It takes me, I seriously work on it quite a while. Hopefully it's worthwhile and people enjoy it, but I don't know. Who knows? It's fun to do. But it never ends up being short and sweet like I initially started. The whole idea with it was with the newsletter too, was to give you guys some, basically, what it's like with us working on life in Michigan, that kind of thing, and throw in some personal anecdotes so you can kind of basically talk with you. It's kind of a one-sided conversation, but hopefully if you write back, you can be part of it. But anyway, that's it. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you'll be back next week when we fire up some more interviews with local bands. And until then, take care, and see you later. Bands are nothing without you, the fans. Purchasing music and merchandise is critical to their survival. If you can help out your favorite bands, please do. If you're in Michigan, consider following the Playing in Detroit Area Tonight and SE for Southeast Michigan Music Facebook pages. They are fantastic places for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, telling your family, telling your priest, tell everyone, and leave a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jam.